Good morning everyone. Today I handle the topic the semiconductors. First, so about the introduction. Semiconductor unit which consists largely or wholly of the semiconductor materials which can perform the useful function in electronic apparatus. It's called the semiconductors. Example for the semiconductor is PN junction diode and transistor, IC chips and etc. Next one is what is semiconductor? A semiconductor is a material which has electrical conductivity between that of the conductor and the copper insulator, such as a glass. The conductivity of the semiconductor increases with increasing the temperature behavior opposite to that of the metals. Next, these of the some types of semiconducting devices like transistor, diodes, and chips, and etc. LED bulbs. Types of semiconductors. There are two types of semiconductors. First one is intrinsic semiconductors, and second one is extrinsic semiconductor. Intrinsic semiconductor is tetravalent, example silicon, germanium, and extrinsic semiconductors, example P type and N type. Semiconductors, this is how the semiconductors flow charts. And they have the two types, intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic semiconductors are called the pure semiconductors, but at the same time the extrinsic semiconductors are also called the impure semiconductors. Extrinsic semiconductors having two types. First one is P type and next one is N type. Next, intrinsic semiconductors. What is intrinsic semiconductors? The conductivity of the semiconductor can be modeled in terms of the band theory of solids. The band model of the semiconductor suggests that the ordinary temperature there is the find possibility that electrons can research the conduction band and contribute to the electrical conduction. And next, extrinsic materials. They have two type of extrinsic materials. One is N type and another one is P type. N type have impurity atoms in 5 valence electrons. At the same time, P type impurity atoms have 3 valence electrons. N type examples are antimony, arsenic and phosphorus. P type semiconductors example boron, gallium and indium. And types of semiconductors. In P type semiconductor, the majority of the holes and the minority of the electrons. At the same time, in N type semiconductor, the minority of the holes and majority of electrons. P type is called accepting ions. N type is called the donor ions. Applications of the semiconducting materials. The semiconductor has its application in almost every section of the electronic devices. Let's have a look at the few applications of the semiconducting devices. They are electronic device, thermal conductivity device, the light emitting diodes like chips, LED bulbs, and the embedded systems, and like so on. Advantages of the semiconducting materials. It's a small size and minimal weight, allowing the development of monitoring electronic devices. It's a highly automated and manufacturing process, resulting in low per unit cost. Lower possible operating voltages, making transistors suitable for small battery powered applications. And disadvantages of the semiconducting devices. The noise level in semiconducting devices is high. The semiconductor cannot handle as much power. Semiconducting devices are very sensitive to change of temperature. It is very difficult to produce the identical semiconducting devices. In conclude, in its pure state, semiconducting material is an excellent insulator. The commonly used semiconducting material is silicon, and the semiconducting materials can be doped with other atoms and add or subtract the electrons. and N type of semiconducting material has the extra electrons. At the same time, the P type semiconductor materials have the shortage of electrons with the vacancies called holes. The heavier the doping, the greater the conductivity of the lower the resistance. By controlling the doping of silicon, the semiconducting material can be made as conductive as desired. Thank you. Thank you all.